Time now for our chart of the day. And on this Friday morning, we want to highlight the housing market where we're seeing signs of a slowdown, at least according to Redfin. So this chart shows you the percentage of homes for sale that saw price drops on average over the last 4 weeks. And you can see that it jumped to 7.3% last week. That's the highest rate that we've seen since 2015. Now, of course, this is a national aggregate. There might be some home areas and metropolitan areas where you're going to see no price drops, but then you might see some where it is decelerating quite fast. The Redfin CEO apparently speaking recently saying Boise, Salt Lake City, Denver, seeing a lot of price declines in homes. So
yeah, you have to wonder some of those newer markets. I don't know if we should call them newer markets, but the really hot markets, whether they're starting to see a bit of a cool down there. I mean, you look at, sort of a market like Southern California or even here in New York. I mean, these have always been traditionally pretty high, but a lot of the inflows there, I mean, you have to wonder how much of that pulls back. Yeah,
and a lot of this is obviously because of rising mortgage rates as well, right? I mean, this timing is coinciding with the increase that we saw in the 30-year mortgage rates. However, as of the last few weeks, we've kind of seen 30-year mortgage fixed rates kind of plateau / start to decline. Now, of course, whether or not story that remains true going forward is going to be one question, but does this trend kind of actually reverse again is definitely, an open question for sure.
And there's also, sort of the flip side of the argument, which is to say that though the sellers are starting to kind of come back down to reality. I mean, we were hearing at the height of this, the last few years when home buying was really heating up because of the low rates, so many sellers were putting out, well above, what some would say should have been the asking in the market. And then that sort of started bidding worse. Exactly. Crazy appraisals, yeah.
Yeah, well, because they knew that people would pay them. I mean, there were images of people standing outside of open houses where the line was all the way down the block. Well, that line might still be there. It's perhaps shorter now. And they know that that bidding process is not necessarily going to lead to, 25%, 30% over asking price, like you were seeing at the, let's say, for example, middle of last year. So, again, it depends on what metro area you're in. In New York City, right, we're seeing the bleed through already to rents. People paying, average $5,000 for monthly rent here in New York City. You might not see that here, but you might see that in those other areas. I mean, Austin, Texas might be another one where I'm thinking there could be a slowdown.
Or Florida.
Florida. Yeah.